Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles. I'm Earl Purdy. Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles here on Facebook Live. And we're going to talk about we're going to do clarification of the terms that the Course in Miracles uses. So we're going to do clarification of terms. We're going to introduce and we're going to do the introduction to really understanding the terms that a Course in Miracles uses, which is a course in right perception. And we're going to start out with some music by our brother John Christmas at www.johnChristmas.com. Here we go. So good to see you.
There's a call for God, I see it everywhere. Everybody's running scared, and everything is turning upside down. But the words I hear, they keep coming through from deep inside of me and you. It's telling us that love is who I am. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. Yeah, yeah, we are one. Now let's come together and understand that Christ was born inside of every man. He's waiting for us to choose him as ourselves. When we choose him, you know you choose me too. And everyone becomes a part of you. And then you will know that love is who I am. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. Yeah, yeah, we are one. Oh, we are one.
Hey, mighty companions. I'm Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to Facebook Live, Hardcore Course in Miracles for Course in Miracles students and anyone else that would care to watch and listen. We are going to do the clarification of the terms that the Course in Miracles uses. We're in the Manual for Teachers, the introduction, page 77, in the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles. It will help you understand the Course in Miracles a lot easier.
You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it?
Brother John Christmas singing songs from the Course in Miracles. It always warms my heart when I get a chance to listen to my brother. It is awesome, 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 awesome. I'm Earl Purdy. Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles. It's especially geared toward the Thursday class that I do is especially geared toward Course in Miracles students who want to go deeper and who want to take advantage of my 40 years of teaching and studying A Course in Miracles. So good to see you. Now, I want you to remember the guidelines for the Course in Miracles. I am the truth repetition teacher. I teach through repetition. The Course in Miracles says that we need to remember what it's saying. It doesn't teach that we should analyze what the Course in Miracles is saying. It says we should we should remember what it's saying. So in the workbook, it gives the guidelines for studying the Course in Miracles. And the guidelines for studying the Course in Miracles says, remember only this. You need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas. You may actively resist some of the ideas. Some of the ideas the Course in Miracles says you may actively resist. It says some of the ideas you may find hard to believe. And some of the ideas in the Course in Miracles may startle you. And it says that you aren't asked to judge the ideas at all. The Course in Miracles says that the use of the ideas will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true, using the ideas. So if you have your Course in Miracles book handy and you're where you can follow along with me, then I'm going to give you some tips about how to understand the Course in Miracles. I always recommend to new students of A Course in Miracles that you start with the Manual for Teachers for this very reason, because the Manual for Teachers has the clarification of the terms that the Course in Miracles uses, which makes it easier for you to read the text, which can be kind of overwhelming and kind of abstract when you first start to study the Course in Miracles. But the introduction and clarification of terms on page 77 in the Manual for Teachers, it really gives you a lot of insight into what the Course in Miracles is teaching and how the Course in Miracles is teaching. I would invite you to let go of any ideas that you have about the way to study A Course in Miracles and follow the instructions that the Course in Miracles gives about how to study the Course in Miracles. So we're going to start on page 77, Manual for Teachers, Clarification of Terms, Introduction. Do you know that the Course in Miracles says this is not a course in philosophical speculation? This is not a course for us to sit around and debate and analyze. And then it says the course is not even concerned with precise terminology. So it's not about philosophical speculation. The Course in Miracles is not about using precise terminology. The Course in Miracles says if you use the ideas will show you that the ideas are true. So let's get this straight. This is not a course in philosophical speculation. So I don't use my classes to sit around and debate what the Course in Miracles means. Then it says the Course in Miracles is not concerned with precise terminology. So what is the Course in Miracles concerned with? Well, the Course in Miracles says it's concerned with atonement. So what is the Course in Miracles concerned with? A Course in Miracles is concerned with the atonement. And what is the atonement? Well, it says right here on the page, the atonement is the correction of perception. So when a person says that they accept atonement for themselves, what you're really saying is, I accept the correction of perception for myself. I accept the correction of my perception for myself. I accept the correction of perception for myself. So when you ask for atonement from A Course in Miracles perspective, you're asking for what? The correction of perception. Now, the Course in Miracles in the text teaches that perception is interpretation. So the atonement is the correction of interpretation. The Course in Miracles is concerned with the correction of your perception. Notice that it did not say the Course in Miracles is concerned about you getting a soulmate, buying a house, getting a car, having a better sex life, being a president of a successful business. The Course in Miracles is not about how to manifest things in the physical world. The Course in Miracles is about the correction of perception. It's about the correction of your interpretation of your world and everything that's happening in your world. So and then it says the means of atonement is forgiveness. So you could read that as what? You could say the means of the correction of perception is forgiveness. So forgiveness is the way that you correct your perception. You could even say forgiveness is the correction of perception. The Course in Miracles says forgiveness is the correction of perception. There are several places in the Course in Miracles where it says that forgiveness is correct perception, that forgiveness is true perception. So the means of atonement, the means of the correction of your perception is forgiveness. Do you know that the next sentence is a very, very, very powerful sentence? It says, the structure of individual consciousness is essentially irrelevant. So the structure of your individual consciousness is really irrelevant. The structure of my individual consciousness is irrelevant. So the structure of each one of our individual consciousness, the Course in Miracles says that's totally irrelevant. The structure of your consciousness as separate from my consciousness, as separate from somebody else's consciousness, the Course in Miracles says that is irrelevant. So why is the structure of individual consciousness irrelevant? It says it's irrelevant because individual consciousness is a concept representing the original error or the original, so-called original sin. So individual consciousness is another reflection of the idea of us being separate and having separate minds. And the Course in Miracles is constantly trying to get us to understand there is only one mind. They're not really separate, different minds. So the Course in Miracles says to study the error, which is what? To study individual consciousness. To study individual consciousness itself does not lead to correction. Studying your individual consciousness, me studying my individual consciousness, the Course in Miracles says that doesn't lead to the correction of perception. That doesn't lead to correction. To study the error. What is the error? To study individual consciousness, to study separate minds, does not lead to correction. Studying your mind, studying my mind, studying someone else's what appears to be separate mind, the Course in Miracles says that doesn't lead to correction. So why is it that studying individual consciousness, individual minds, why is it that that doesn't lead to correction? Because if I'm studying individual consciousness, which is the ego, if I'm studying what appears to be an individual separate mind, the Course in Miracles says that's not going to be helpful, because the truth of it is, A Course in Miracles is trying to teach us how to overlook the error. It's trying to teach us how to overlook the ego. It's trying to teach us how to overlook individual separate minds, to overlook the idea that we are separate and that we have separate minds. So how can you overlook something that you're studying? So to study individual minds does not succeed in overlooking separate individual minds, because we're supposed to be overlooking the idea of being separate and focusing in on the idea of our oneness. Do you follow me? Tune in. Tune in to what's being said. 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 Okay? The ego is going to try to get you to focus on everything but what I'm saying right now. This is not a time to show how wise we all are in our knowledge of the Course. We are studying so that we can hear what the Course in Miracles is teaching us right now. So focus in on what the Course in Miracles is saying. It's telling us that the Course in Miracles is not concerned with all of our different philosophies, that the Course in Miracles is not concerned with precise terminology. It's telling us that the Course in Miracles is only interested in the correction of our perception, and that the means of the correction of our perception is forgiveness. It's also saying that focusing in on the structure of our individual minds, that's not going to correct our perception. What's going to correct our perception is learning how to overlook the idea that we have separate minds and that we are separate. That our healing is going to come from going beyond the ego, not focusing on our individual perceptions and not focusing in on our individual consciousness, but actually it says that we are to learn how to overlook the ego, overlook the insanity, overlook wrong perception. And it is just this process of overlooking at which the Course in Miracles aims. So what is it that the Course in Miracles is trying to get us to do? It's trying to get us to overlook the separation, overlook the anger, overlook the grievances, overlook the idea that we're separate and that we have separate individual consciousness. It is just this process of overlooking at which the Course in Miracles aims. Now, what's controversial? Well, the Course in Miracles says in the next paragraph, even though I've been studying A Course in Miracles and teaching the Course in Miracles for 40 years, I still teach out of the book, because that's what people focus in on the least in my experience of people studying A Course in Miracles. They may take one line from the Course in Miracles if they're in a study group, and then the rest of the time, people are just sitting around giving their individual interpretations of what they think the Course is saying, and in many cases, overlooking what's right in front of their face, right on the page in front of them. Now, the Course in Miracles says that all terms are potentially controversial. All terms can be controversial. And guess who finds controversy? Who do you think finds controversy? A Course in Miracles says those who seek controversy will find controversy. So if you're seeking controversy, you will find controversy. But guess what else? Those who seek clarification will find clarification as well. So if you're listening and you're watching and you just want to be separate and you're looking for controversy, then you'll find controversy. If you are seeking clarification, if you're watching this or listening to this because you want to get clearer about what A Course in Miracles is teaching, you will find that clarification as well. So what is the Course in Miracles saying? It's saying that it depends on you. If you're looking for clarification, you'll get clarification. If you're not looking for clarification, you won't get clarification. If you're looking for controversy, you will find controversy. So what do you do if you want clarification? If you want to get clarification, if you want to get clearer about what the Course in Miracles is saying, the Course in Miracles says, those who seek clarification must, however, be willing? What must you be willing to do if you want to get clarification with the Course in Miracles? You must be willing to overlook controversy. If you want clarification, you can't focus on things that are controversial. A Course in Miracles says if you want clarification, you have to overlook controversy. Now, I teach in a question-answer format, and you'll notice that as you listen to me, because that way most questions that you would ask, you would get answered. So, how do you overlook controversy? How do you get clarification? By recognizing that focusing on controversy, focusing on everything that you are opposed to, focusing on everything that baffles you, confuses you. The Course in Miracles says you have to overlook controversy if you want clarification. How do you overlook controversy? The Course in Miracles says you have to recognize what? That controversy is a defense against the truth. Focusing on controversial issues in A Course in Miracles, it's just a plan against being able to accept what the Course in Miracles is teaching. When you focus on controversial issues, the Course in Miracles says it's a delaying maneuver. So when we focus on aspects of the Course in Miracles that seems like it's really controversial, theoretical, the Course in Miracles says that's nothing but a delaying maneuver. So then it gives us an example of what it's talking about. What would be controversial? Well, the Course in Miracles says theological considerations as such are necessarily controversial. If we were to focus in on religion and different religious beliefs, or focus in on everybody's different perceptions of what God is, or whether or not we even think God exists, it says it right here. Theological considerations are necessarily controversial. So why is it that theological considerations are controversial? Well, because theological considerations, belief in God, belief in a higher power in and of itself, how we worship God, how a person worships a higher power. The Course in Miracles says it's controversial since theological considerations depend on belief. And anything that depends on belief can either be accepted or rejected. So what the Course would consider controversial would be something that either you could choose to believe or you could choose to not believe. So you can choose to believe the Course in Miracles, for instance, or you could choose not to believe the Course in Miracles. That's what makes even the Course in Miracles controversial, right? Because it can be accepted and it can be rejected. But what's really impossible is a universal theology. There is not going to be a belief in God. There is not going to be a religion that everyone in the world accepts and believes. The whole idea of converting everyone to some particular religious beliefs is a controversial, impossible desire. According to the Course in Miracles, it's impossible to have a universal theology. It's impossible to have a religion or a belief in God or a perception of God that everyone universally believes or everyone universally worships. But what is it that we can have? What is it that we can have? We can't have a universal theology. We can't have a universal religion. So what can we have? Well, the Course in Miracles says what you can have is a universal experience. We can all have the experience of love. We can all have the experience of joy. We can all have the experience of peace. We can all have the experience of oneness. A universal experience is not only possible, don't you realize that a universal experience is necessary? It's necessary that we have a universal experience of love. We all can have a universal experience of our feelings. The Course in Miracles says it is this universal experience. It is this universal experience of love. It is this universal experience of oneness. It is this universal experience toward which the Course in Miracles is directed. So what is it that the Course in Miracles is trying to do? The Course in Miracles is trying to give us a universal experience. What kind of universal experience? The Course in Miracles is trying to give us a universal experience of love, a universal experience of oneness. So what is the Course in Miracles directed toward? It's directed toward love. It's directed toward peace. It's directed toward joy. So here alone, consistency becomes possible, because here alone, in us having a universal experience of love, in us having a universal experience of oneness alone, that's where our uncertainty ends. That is where our doubt ends. When we have that universal experience of oneness with each other, that universal experience of love with each other. Take a breath. Now, where does the Course in Miracles remain? Well, the Course in Miracles says this course remains within the ego framework. The ego framework is within the framework of a person who thinks that they have individual consciousness. So A Course in Miracles remains within our framework. You see, we think we have individual consciousness. We think we are separate. Right. It looks like there's a you. It looks like there's a me. It looks like I have my own mind, my own individual structure of my consciousness. And it looks like you have your own individual structure of your consciousness. So the Course in Miracles remains within the framework of the human mind, where the Course in Miracles is needed. What is it that the Course in Miracles is not concerned with? What is it that the Course in Miracles is not concerned with? The Course in Miracles is not concerned with what is beyond all error. The Course in Miracles is not concerned with what's beyond all mistakes. The Course in Miracles is planned only to set us in the direction towards going beyond mistakes. The Course in Miracles is trying to move us in the direction where we would go beyond the idea of separate minds, beyond the idea of individual consciousness. That's the Course in Miracles is trying to direct us toward oneness. It's trying to direct us past the idea of separation. With the Course in Miracles, I try to subscribe as a teacher to that idea that we call KISS. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Let's keep it simple, sweetheart. Let's keep it simple. The Course in Miracles is saying, give up on the idea that everybody's going to believe the same way, have the same philosophy, have the same idea about religion or God. It's saying that that's impossible. But we can have a universal experience, a universal experience of love, a universal experience of light. And the Course in Miracles is trying to direct us beyond the idea of separation, beyond the idea of individual consciousness. And so it's consistent in that. The Course in Miracles is always consistently moving us beyond separation. And it's when you go beyond separation that your uncertainty ends. When you go beyond separation. Let's keep it simple, sweetheart. Let's keep it simple. I am the truth repetition teacher. In 40 years of loving this and doing this, in the last 30 plus years of doing it full time, I've had a chance to literally work with thousands of Course in Miracles students. And I want you to know that the truth is not hard. The Course in Miracles says, this is not hard. It's just very different. It's just a different way of looking at things. And it's so different that sometimes our mind will say, the Course in Miracles is hard to understand. But the Course in Miracles says what? That to understand means to accept. That when you accept something, you understand it. So this course remains within our framework, within the way that we think, because that's where it's needed. It's not concerned with what's going to be on the other side of your ego so much as it's trying to move you in the direction of going past your fear thoughts, past your separation thoughts, past your worry thoughts, past the thoughts that you are just a body that's here temporarily. You are more than a body. You have a body, but you are more than a body. You are a spiritual being having what you call a human experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. So the Course in Miracles is trying to move us in the direction beyond the misperceptions that we have about what we are. The Course in Miracles says we should teach one thing. And what is the one thing that the Course in Miracles says we should teach? It says in the text, teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. So what does the Course in Miracles use? What does it use to teach us? It says, therefore, the Course in Miracles uses words. The Course in Miracles uses words. But do you know that words are symbols? Words are symbolic. So words cannot express what lies beyond words. Words will never be able to express what we really are. There will never be any words that can express truly what love is. There can never be any words that express what's on the other side of separation, what's on the other side of thinking that we're separate. But guess what? It is merely the ego that questions. It's merely the part of us that thinks we're separate from each other and separate from God. It's the part of us that believes we are separate. The Course in Miracles says, it is the ego that asks questions in the first place. So there's no such thing in a sense of me asking any question that's not coming from the part of me that doesn't know the truth, the part of me that thinks it's separate, the part of me that doesn't know that I have all knowledge. It's the part of you that doesn't know your true divine self that asks questions. It is merely the ego that questions. Why is it that it's only the ego that questions? Well, it's only the ego that questions because it's only the ego that doubts. If you feel doubt, that's not you. Who you really are, what you really are, as created by the Creator, the Course in Miracles says, who you really are has all knowledge. That it's only the ego that doubts. It's only the fearful mind that doubts. It's only the mind that thinks it's separate that even doubts. It's the ego that questions, and it's the ego that doubts. So the only part of you that doubts is the ego. And the only part of you that actually questions is the ego. That's a trip. So it's only my ego that's ever asking any questions to begin with. And it's only my ego that is doubting. The Course says, when your ego asks a question, when the part of you that doubts asks a question, the Course merely does what? You ask a question, A Course in Miracles will give you an answer. Then your ego asks another question, and then the Course merely gives another answer. Once you raise a question, Spirit will keep on answering. That's the way it works. You ask a question, you receive an answer. You ask another question, you receive another answer. But you can tell when you're getting an answer from God. How can you tell when you are getting an answer from your divine mind? How can you know when you're getting an answer from God? The Course says, this answer does not attempt to resort to inventiveness or ingenuity. So an answer that comes from Spirit is not an answer that's trying to resort to being inventive or ingenious. Inventiveness and ingenuity, do you know that inventiveness and ingenuity are just attributes of the ego? Inventiveness and ingenuity are just aspects of the frightened, separate, unknowing part of yourself. That's the ego. So there's no need to be inventive, and there's no need to try to be ingenious in terms of the answers that come from Spirit, the answers that come from love, the answers that come from the truth are not inventive, and the answers that come from the truth are not based in ingenuity. Those are just attributes of the ego. Those are just attributes of the part of you that is not of your divine self. Now, you know that's very different, because we're taught to absolutely believe that inventiveness and being ingenious is some type of a spiritual quality. A Course in Miracles is saying, the Course is simple. You see the next line? It says what? The Course is simple. The Course is simple. The Course is simple. The Course in Miracles is simple. The Course is simple. The Course is simple. The Course is simple. It's right there on the page. I'm not making this up. That's why I work out of the book. The Course is simple. So what makes the Course in Miracles simple? What makes something simple? The Course in Miracles says, what makes the Course in Miracles simple is this. The Course in Miracles has one function, which means the Course in Miracles just has one goal. The goal of God, the goal of love, the goal of peace, the goal of oneness, the goal of awakening. They're all the same thing. They're all synonymous. The goal of forgiveness, and forgiveness is the correct perception. So the Course in Miracles has one goal: to teach you how to see things differently, to teach you how to remove the blocks to the awareness of love. It has one goal, and because the Course in Miracles only has one goal, only in that it has one goal and one function, it's only in that the Course in Miracles remains totally consistent. The Course in Miracles is totally consistent. Because having one function and one goal, only that can be consistent. So the Course in Miracles says that an honest person is a consistent person. Earlier in the Manual for Teachers, the Course in Miracles said that honesty is consistency. To be honest is to be consistent. So the Course in Miracles is simple. It has one function, one goal, the correction of your perception. And if you're seeing correctly, you feel peace and love. And if you're seeing incorrectly, all you see is conflict and fear. So if you're looking out at the world and all you see is something that frightens you, then it means you are not perceiving correctly. You cannot be perceiving correctly and feel fear, conflict, and guilt. According to the Course in Miracles, you cannot be perceiving correctly and be concerned and worried and upset. Those feelings do not go with correct perception. Listen to me now. Now, it's the next paragraph, paragraph 4, says something that's awesome. This paragraph is loaded. Listen to this. It says the ego will demand many answers that the Course in Miracles doesn't give. So you may ask from your human mind, from your separated mind. The separated mind, the person that thinks that they're a body, the person that thinks they're separate, will demand many answers that this Course doesn't give. You may ask for many answers that the Course in Miracles does not give. You may ask questions that the Course in Miracles does not give you answers to. Because the Course in Miracles doesn't recognize as questions the mere form of a question. And it's impossible to answer the mere form of a question. So what does the Course in Miracles mean when it says it's impossible to answer the mere form of a question? Whenever you have a question about anything that you're reading in A Course in Miracles, just keep on reading. It's almost as if Jesus of A Course in Miracles, who is the author of the Course in Miracles, it's almost as if Jesus of the Course in Miracles knew that you would ask all the questions that you ask. So what is a question that the ego asks? Well, one of the main questions that the ego asks is, how did the impossible occur? How did we end up being separate in the first place? How did we end up here in the first place? How did it end up that it looked like we were in bodies and separate from God? How did this impossible situation that we're in occur? And then the Course in Miracles says the ego, the part that doubts, the part that doesn't know, the part of your mind that doesn't know. It says it also may ask, to what did the impossible happen? It may ask this in a lot of different forms. So let's get this straight. Your ego may ask a lot of questions that the Course in Miracles does not answer. You may ask, well, why did I want to feel guilty? Why did I want to be separate from God in the first place? How did I get into the body in the first place? How did the impossible occur? How could I lose sight of who and what I really am? The Course in Miracles says the ego might ask a lot of questions. But guess what? There is no answer. There is no answer. When you ask the question, well, how did the impossible happen in the first place? It says right here, there is no answer. What there is an experience. But there is no answer. So the Course in Miracles wants to give you an experience. Do you know that when you have the experience that the Course in Miracles is directing you towards, when you have the experience of God, the experience of real love, the experience of oneness, that experience will answer all your questions. The experience of being without fear, the experience of being without lack, the experience of being without guilt, the experience of being without anger, the experience of being without sickness. That's what the Course in Miracles is about. It's not about analyzation. It's not about trying to answer all the questions that come up in your ego's mind. The Course in Miracles is saying, I want to give you the experience of God, the experience of love, the experience of freedom. That's what I want to give to you, the experience. Seek only what? Seek only the experience of God. Seek only the experience of love. Seek only the experience of oneness. And don't let theology delay you. Don't let theology delay you. Don't let focusing in on different religious beliefs and religious attitudes, theological issues, don't let those things delay you. Guess what? What the Course in Miracles says. There is no answer. There is what? There is only the experience. Don't you want the experience, mighty companion? Go for the experience. So what is it that you're going to notice as you study A Course in Miracles? The Course in Miracles says what? This is what you're going to notice. So what are you going to notice when you study A Course in Miracles? It says, when you study the Course in Miracles, you're going to notice that the emphasis on structural issues in the Course in Miracles is brief and early. The Course in Miracles, its emphasis is not on form, its innocence is not on structural issues. And what happens is it gives you a little structure, but after that, and soon, the emphasis on structural issues drops away. So why does the emphasis on structural issues drop away early in the Course in Miracles? To make way for the central teaching. You want to make way for the central teaching. You want to make way for the central teaching. So, since you've asked for clarification, however, then we're going to continue next time with getting even deeper into some of those terms and what they mean. Also, there's a special message for you because, as you know, I pull a miracle card for the group, for everybody that's watching every week. And I'm going to do a quick recap of what we've covered so far, because whether you know it or not, this section that we covered so far, this section really describes overall what the Course in Miracles is doing and what its purpose is and the approach that it's taking in helping you achieve complete happiness and complete peace of mind. It is always such a blessing for me to share with you. So I got some stuff to share with you right at the end. As a full-time teacher of A Course in Miracles, I want to thank you for tuning in to my presentations. If you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, as this is what I do in the world, is teach, and we are sustained by the love of God, then you can go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com, and you could make a donation. I appreciate that. Or you could use Venmo, and my email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. Those of you who have issues, things that you're ready to go past, blocks that you're ready to let go of, changes in your consciousness that you know you're ready to have happen so you can have all the peace and joy that the Course in Miracles promises, I offer one-on-one individual sessions with me called Clarity Sessions. If you go to my website, look under the Clarity Session tab, it will give you specific details about the services that I offer. And those of you who are open and receptive to it, I am also a soul purpose astrologer and numerologist and have been for over 40 years. So I'm also available in that capacity also. On Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, and you can also book a session with me right there online on my website. On Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook, I do another Course in Miracles Facebook Live. And of course, on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, on the Earl Purdy page, we do hardcore Course in Miracles. I want to make sure that I'm here for those of you who see yourselves as true Course in Miracles students, and you see the Course in Miracles as your spiritual path. The purpose of my relationship with you, the purpose of me teaching and sharing with you after doing this for 40 years is to save you time. KISS. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Remember what it said earlier? The Course is simple. The Course is simple. So what were the main points that we heard? The first thing that we heard was that the Course in Miracles is not interested in all of our philosophical speculations. It's not concerned with precise terminology. Do you know the Course in Miracles is only concerned with atonement? And atonement is the correction of your perception, the correction of your interpretation. The Course in Miracles is also not interested in the structure of your individual consciousness, that part of you that thinks that you are separate from everybody else, your separate mind. The Course in Miracles is actually teaching us to overlook that part of us that thinks it's separate from God, to overlook the ego. Also, the Course in Miracles says, don't get caught up in controversial issues. And controversial issues are basically things that just are based on whether you believe it or not believe it, or things that you believe or don't believe, things that you can accept or reject. Those things are controversial. You know, I can't prove to you, you can either believe in reincarnation or not. You can believe in the Course in Miracles or not. You can believe in something or not. The Course in Miracles says that's always potentially something that's controversial. So the Course in Miracles says that a universal theology, that's impossible. A universal quote-unquote belief system, that's impossible. But what did it say? It said we could have a universal experience. And that universal experience that the Course in Miracles is trying to teach us to have is that universal experience of forgiveness, that universal experience of oneness. Now, the Course in Miracles will remain within the framework that we think we're in. We think we're bodies, we think we're separate, so it teaches us from that perspective. But the Course in Miracles is trying to set us on a direction beyond the ego, set us in a direction so that we can tap into what's beyond separation, what's beyond fear. Words cannot express what's beyond words. And there's a reality that the Course in Miracles is steering us towards that's beyond words. What else did it tell us? Well, it told us that really the truth is it's only the ego that's asking questions anyway. It's only the ego that's full of doubt. It's only the part of us that's the false self that's asking questions. It's only the false self that even doubts. But that doesn't matter, because every time your ego asks a question, the Course in Miracles will give you another answer. What else did the Course in Miracles tell us? It said, don't even believe that being inventive and using ingenuity is coming from your spiritual self. That's coming from your ego. The Course in Miracles is simple. Why is the Course in Miracles simple? Because the Course in Miracles has one function, one goal, and that goal is God, and our function is forgiveness. Our function is to have our perception corrected. And how do you know when your perception is corrected? You will know when your perception is corrected because you will experience some form of peace without attack. The Course in Miracles is consistent. Now, your ego is going to ask a lot of questions that the Course in Miracles doesn't even try to answer. It says that point blank, that the Course in Miracles is not interested in trying to answer all the analyzation and the questions that we come up with. That the Course in Miracles wants to give us an experience. And in having that experience of God, in having that experience of oneness, that's what will answer every question we have. Seek only that. So the Course in Miracles starts out with some structure, but after a while, the structure drops away so it can make way for its central teaching, which is forgiveness, which is the correction of perception. So the card that I pulled for you, I'm so glad that you're here live, and I always look at all of your comments, because that's why I do it live and don't just record it and then just upload it. It's so that we can have the experience of each other. So the card that I pulled for the group is love is the way I walk in gratitude. Love is the way I walk in gratitude. Say it to yourself. Love is the way I walk in gratitude. Love is the way I walk in gratitude. Say it to yourself. Love is the way you walk in gratitude. So how do you walk in gratitude? How do you walk in gratitude? Love is the way I walk in gratitude. Love is the way I walk in gratitude. Love is the way you walk in gratitude. Love is the way you walk in gratitude. Love is the way I walk in gratitude. Say it. Love is the way I walk in gratitude. Love is the way I walk in gratitude. Love is the way you walk in gratitude. Love is the way you walk in gratitude. Try then today to begin to learn how to look on all things. So what is it you need to do? Try then today, try to begin to learn how to look on all things with love. Learn how to look upon all things in love. Today, begin to learn how to look on all things with love. Try then today to begin to learn how to look on all things with love, appreciation, and open-mindedness. Listen to, this is our message from Holy Spirit. This is our message from love. It says, I want you guys today to begin to learn how to look on all things. Learn how to look on all things with love, appreciation, and open-mindedness. Love, appreciation, and open-mindedness. So, today begin to learn how to look upon all things with love, look on all things with appreciation, and learn how to look on all things with open-mindedness. Learn how to look upon yourself with open-mindedness. Learn how to look upon yourself with love. Learn how to look upon yourself with appreciation. Appreciate yourself, love yourself, and learn how to look on all things. Learn how to look on all things with love, appreciation, and open-mindedness. Try then today to begin to learn how to look on all things with love, appreciation, and open-mindedness. Love is the way I walk in gratitude. Guess what? Love is the way. Love is the way. I know it's needed now. There's such a need for love in the world right now. If love's going to be here, it's got to come through us. If you're going to walk in this world right now, how should you walk in this world? Walk in this world in love. Learn how to look on all things, including yourself, with love, appreciation, and open-mindedness. Mighty companions, please listen to this and watch this at least 4 times before next time we meet. Please share this video on your timeline and in any groups on Facebook that you feel would appreciate this message. You are such a blessing. I cannot begin to tell you how much I appreciate your seeing value in what comes through me. I feel so blessed, and we are all blessed. You are awesome. Mighty companions, I love you. And may the course be with you.